right, welcome into the Can't Wait to Get podcast. I'm your co-host Mike, along with Chuck. Yeah,
What up?
how's it going, Chuck? Happy New Year.
It's going, man. Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, did you have a good New Year, good Christmas? We haven't potted since then.
Yeah, it was good, man. Good Christmas Day with the kids. Cooked a beef Wellington.
It looked good.
Some of the hardest shit I've ever cooked, but it was very tasty. And then like I've been off until today since like the 21st, which was nice. Did some fishing, and then went to Vegas to see Post Malone.
Heck yeah, not at Sphere though, but the concert looked
No,
badass.
it was good, man. It's funny because we don't go to a lot of concerts. When we go, it's been like David Brothers or Leon Bridges, and they're like singing the whole time because they're not like Britney Spearsing it around the stage.
Right.
Um, but like, Blanca's like, well, she was a little disappointed because like he had like backing track with them on most of his like rap style songs. But when so he'd be screaming in the microphone and then stop, and then you'd hear his voice, because but that's part of the show, I guess. And
Yeah,
then he played some stuff with the acoustic guitar and electric guitar where he sang with. So it was a
nice.
mix mash of things, but it was really good. It was really
It's
fun,
always
and it
different seeing a
wasn't.
live concert. Yeah,
Yeah, because even just like some people's voices sound different.
yeah,
And if the sound isn't right and everything, but the sound, it was in the Fountain Blue, which is the newest casino in Vegas,
Hmm.
and he was the first person playing, um, like in that theater. And it was funny because we were watching Dick Clark's New Year's Eve on New Year's Eve, and they said, "Now let's go to Las Vegas, to the Fountain Blue, Post Malone," and it was from the night before when we were there.
Oh
Like
man,
they showed his final song, which is called Chemicals. Like that after he finished, the two encore songs were Sunflower and Chemicals, and so they just had him playing Chemicals. And like when he was playing at the concert, all this confetti come like during that song, confetti shooting everywhere. Like, why is confetti shooting everywhere? And then on New Year's Eve, I'm like,
makes
okay,
sense
when I'm watching
now.
on TV.
Yeah,
But the only
that's
thing was
cool.
he had a Cowboys jersey on, a Parsons Cowboys jersey, um, and like short jean shorts with like leopard sparkle prints on them, and these like white covers. And but he like the Cowboys won that night. Like he came on right after the Cowboys played.
Yeah,
Um, and he was like, "How about the fucking Cowboys?" And like most everybody was like, "Boo!" And he's like, "Come on, y'all!"
yeah.
Like,
Raiders
so,
country.
yeah. But yeah, that Raiders stadium is badass. Like from the
Oh, I
outside,
bet. Yeah,
it's like black and silver, and it looks like the Sphere. Like it's
sick.
just amazing. They spent like $1.5 billion on it, so I
Dude,
guess
yeah.
they did it right.
Vegas is changing now that they have professional sports. It's insane.
Well, we saw where they're going to build the baseball stadium for the A's,
Nice.
or it's being built, I guess.
Yeah.
When do they go there? When do they go to Oakland
I
this
think
year?
20
Right?
they left Oakland, but I don't think the stadium opens until 25. They're playing somewhere else until
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
They're playing UNLV baseball stadium.
You probably it's capacity 3,000 to sell out every time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'll probably be more fans in Oakland, but
Yeah, true.
yeah. But that was it. Like that was
Nice.
your Christmas and New Year's.
That was good. Spent time with family and relaxed and stayed around here for New Year's, didn't do anything crazy. And then New Year's Day was at my parents' house watching football. And I don't want to get too much into the first one, but thank God that fucking
Yeah,
Texas
horns
lost.
down.
Everybody can't see it, but horns down, bitches. Yeah. Um, no,
Yeah,
really, really glad Texas lost. Yeah.
yeah. I thought it was going to be Washington, Alabama, in Washington. I had Washington to win the national championship, but I don't know. It just feels like one of these things where Michigan's going to win, and then they're going to have to vacate everything because of all the cheating, like
It
that
it
Harbaugh's been doing. But
it feels like to me at this point that they're gonna get off scot free. Like it'll be
yeah,
some like, oh, it was an inside, it was a small group of people, but Harbaugh had
yeah,
no idea. But then we'll issue them a $2 million penalty, and then they'll keep the championship or whatever. It's just like the more they win, the less likely I think that it's going to get vacated. It pisses me off so
yeah,
much.
or yeah, and like he'll win the national championship, then he'll leave and go for the pros, and then
Yeah,
they're like they won't do anything. Well,
yeah,
he's out of there, and the other guy left.
yeah. He's going to
But
pull
I mean,
a Pete Carroll. Yeah,
one thing I have to say is that yeah, and then they left USC in shambles after that.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Talking TV. Let's talk about slow horses because that ended first. Um, Dude, just a banger of a season. I think we left off with where did we leave off where they were about to go into the document warehouse. I can't remember where we left off last time in the podcast talking about slow horses, but I think we
yeah,
haven't potted the last two episodes.
yeah. I mean, the last couple episodes were basically they go River and um, Sean and
Yeah, Donovan.
uh,
Yeah,
Sean
and
Donovan.
yeah,
What's her name? Not Eliza,
Louisa.
Louisa, and another one of Donovan's guys goes into the document warehouse thing, and then the dogs and um,
Duffy.
Duffy's dogs and what's the
Oh,
third
Chieftain.
chieftain? They go in and basically they're trying to kill him. Not Tavener. What's the number one desk at
Oh,
MI5?
um,
Um, I guess we could be
I guess I should
prepared
know
or
this,
look
huh?
at
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
it.
Yeah, this is all it's the chieftain, ruse behind the breaking into MI5 and all that stuff was all set up by Tierney, to get back at
Tyranny.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first desk and all this stuff, and Tavener Tierney, and it's
Well,
all blown up.
Tyranny's yeah first, and then Tavener's
Yeah,
Kristen Scott Thomas.
yeah,
But yeah, Tyranny's trying to. You find out that she ordered the hit on Sean Donovan's girlfriend, who was MI5, to cover up from another document coming out how they killed other agents or something.
yeah.
Um,
They developed special
oh,
weapons with like
yes,
microwave, and they used it on like
against
North
North Korea
Koreans, and
or
it
something. Yeah,
like messed up
yeah,
civilians in the process. Yeah,
yeah. And then yeah, so then it's basically like the last two episodes are a showdown between Tavener and Tierney,
yeah, for control of
with like
MI5. Yeah.
yeah, and so, but it's funny because the finale is kind of like the first, even the fifth episode, they're almost like action movies versus some of their normal
Yeah.
style. So, um, a lot of like gunfighting scenes and kind of like reminds me like of Call of Duty
Yeah.
scenarios, you know.
For real. Yeah. Like they're
Um,
like having to like infiltrate this bunker, and there's people like resisting. And it was really cool they shot it because like even the penultimate episode ended with River taking a grenade, like
yeah,
and like getting blown through the stack.
yeah,
Like it was really cool scene. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and we make it out with all of our main characters unscathed.
Yep.
Standish, Roddy, um, River, Louisa,
Louisa and the twins. I know they're
Standish.
not twins, but the cokehead and the gambler. I can't remember their
Yeah,
names for the love of them, but
Koki and
yeah.
Gamby.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I did like they, Gary Oldman was going to get Standish Lamb, right?
yeah,
And he's got is it Roddy, the
Roddy,
hacker?
Big Rod.
Yeah, yeah. And it turns into like Home Alone at the house where Gary Oldman is just setting traps and like putting down Pringles and stuff, and then that sister gets shot because she like was standing there and the guy could see the lines in the wall, but yeah, that guy with the bald guy with the big ass clover
Yeah,
ears. got popped by
Yeah,
Lamb, which was hilarious. Um,
dude, that was because like because
he gave River a
he
beatdown.
got yeah, but it's just crazy because I didn't think I thought he was just like knock him out or something. He just
Yeah.
fucking headshotted him from behind. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah, and then Rod drives the fucking like wedding bus through their house, and he's like, "Did I get him?" And he's like, "No."
yeah, and Duffy got sniped
Oh, he
as
got capped.
well.
Yeah, he got capped.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he's
yeah.
dead.
So we get some bad guys off the board, and all our good guys um, are still there. And I mean, the kind of way it ends is Standish and Lamb are talking about how this wouldn't happen under Charles
Charles Potna.
Patna,
Yeah,
the previous NFI, which actually you find out, I think it was season 1 or 2 that I think it was one that Lamb basically assassinated him.
yeah,
Um, and
yeah. It was season 1. That's right. Yeah,
but basically because he was a Russian spy, or that was
yeah.
the
It
thing.
was
So
feeding intel to the
and
Russians for years. Yeah,
yeah, and Lamb finally tells Standish this, and she gets mad and is walking back to London. But yeah, so it should be interesting how next season goes. Which what the beautiful thing about this show is after the ending, it's like coming in season 3, and you're like,
love
yes,
it.
or season
Love it.
4, or whatever the next one is,
Yep.
or next season. And I mean, it's funny because we didn't talk about um, also River goes to his grandfather, who is played by um,
Jonathan Price.
Jonathan Price, one of the great freaking actors. And he basically burns it. Thankfully, he made a copy, or he had a copy. But it looks like next season the grandfather is going to be more prevalent again. But he seems to, in this season he was losing his memory and all that. But it looks like it's going to be another interesting season. So hopefully we'll get it in the spring or fall, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. We'll probably get it in the
Well, I guess it
fall.
just ended, so it'll probably be yeah,
Yeah. No, it was really good. I like how his grandfather's always playing the game. Like, he was a spy, he
yeah,
understands. Like he worked with Lamb, he knows all of this. And like River and like the younger people are all idealistic, and like the older generation is like, nah, it's how it is. Like, yeah, they did some dirty stuff,
yeah,
but it's the service. It'll be interesting to see what happens next season because they tease that somebody from Slough House dies,
yeah,
and there's a lot of guesses around who it's going to be. I think we know some people are pretty safe, but I really hope they expand on the Charles partner thing because in the books, from what I've read, they do.
hmm
And I think for me, because his grandfather, burned the file, and he's got some memory loss issues. And in the scenes for next season, you see he's got a shotgun and he's acting all defensive.
mm,
I don't know if he's being chased or pursued as a part of the plot, or he's just losing his memory even more. He's just becoming more of a danger, to himself and to other people, and Rivers
yeah,
having to navigate that. But it's going to be super interesting. I can't wait.
yeah, yeah, for
So,
sure. Yeah, one of the best shows on TV.
hands down,
So
hands down. Yeah. Short season. I mean, it's 6, 8 episodes. Boom. It's already over. It's done.
I think it's definitely be a top 10 show for me, which I think this year is going to be hard
Yeah.
to really narrow down the top 10. I
Yeah.
think there's a pretty solid top 5 that's going to be unshaken, but top
Pretty
10 is going
heavily
to be a
stacked
tough.
this year. Yeah.
Yeah, and speaking of Jack Loudon, who plays River, I finished The Gold
And
on Paramount Plus, and it was really good. Another six
nice.
episode show.
Nice.
Thank God for the British BBC. That's on Paramount Plus. But Brink's Mat robbery in the UK in the 80s, and um, so
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Jonathan Price, just last thing about, he's probably going to get an Emmy nod. I mean, he's in The Crown. I got 2
yeah,
episodes left of The Crown on season 6. It's the
yeah,
final season. He plays Prince Philip, the Queen's husband,
yeah,
and he just crushed it this season. A lot of emotion, a lot
yeah,
of great acting. So he'll probably get an Emmy nod for that. But yeah, man, good show. I'll have to watch The Gold. And then we're also watching what Fargo and For All Mankind right now. What do you want to jump into next?
Yeah, let's talk about Fargo real quick, and then
Yeah,
we'll wrap it up for all mankind. But yeah, Fargo continues to just be a rocket ship. I think
yeah,
um, it's so hard to talk about. I think um, but, they kind of this episode was a Nadine backstory episode. I think for the
yeah,
most part,
yeah,
um, we kind of follow her trek, but basically trek through her past,
yeah,
and we get to meet uh, Sheriff Roy Tillman and Gator's wife slash mom.
yep.
Well, Roy's ex-wife and Gator's mom. So apparently she's um, in charge of this utopia place, which Nadine or Dot is in a car going up, as if you put it, going to Austin. But
Going to the land of
to this,
the land of the free. I'll put it. Yeah,
she digs up like a postcard. This Camp Utopia, and from um, I forget her name, but Roy's first wife. So we find out basically that Dot was taken in. Basically, we don't know much with Dot. She was in the store stealing stuff, and Roy's first wife basically says, "Oh, I
Linda.
Linda, Linda, Linda." Basically covers for her with a shop owner, and then invites her over, and basically takes her in, and she's like basically Gator's sister. And then we find out basically that when Linda goes out of town, like Roy like rapes her and beats her, and
Yeah,
like that like Linda was almost grooming her to take her place, and so she could get out of Dodge.
yeah.
It's kind of fucked up, man. Like this
It
whole
was.
backstory thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like I was
it's
loving me
weird.
some John Hamm, like backhanded justice and biblical um appropriation of justice, and now it's like, oh, okay. I
Yeah.
guess I should be
His
rooting against him now.
yeah.
No.
His brand of learning is a little off. It's here, let me teach you math. 2 + 2 equals rape. Okay, next.
Yeah,
Yeah. It was pretty fucked up. But yeah, she goes to this Camp Utopia and she like the car runs out of gas and she like hoofs it through the woods and in the snow and all of a sudden and she like winds up at like this place and there's like a puppet show going on and it's like all women and they're all called Linda and it's like a women's rehabilitation place for like abused like former spouses and stuff and she's like no I want to talk to Linda Tillman like my Linda because she started this place and she like won't address anything that like Dot wants to talk about like Dot wants her to come back with her so she can testify against Roy, right?
uh-huh.
um and she's like, nope, you have to tell your story with your own puppet and you got to make your own puppet. And I'm like, dude, how much time do we have to talk about making puppets? Like, but
Yeah. I
yeah, she
wonder, like,
spends,
how long.
yeah,
And so, how long was she there? She makes her puppet, does her puppet show, basically convinces Linda to go back with her. But we see Dot we see her going to this coffee shop, and then all this utopia stuff happens, and then we see her kind of snap out of it in the coffee shop, and so you're not sure if Linda's really with her or not. And she walks outside, and there's nobody in the car, and then a tractor trailer skids into a car and knocks her
yeah,
out. Um, and then she wakes up in the hospital, and they say your husband's here, and we see Roy come in, and that's kind of so we don't know next week what's going to happen, but it's not looking good for Nadine. Now, it's not
no,
looking good for Gator either. So the other
no.
main thing in this episode is he's got his
Oh, yeah.
uh Tracker from what was the movie that was the
Oh,
tracker in
um,
the
No Country
Coen
for Old
Brothers
Men.
movie? Was it? Yeah. So
Yeah.
he tracks Ula to as we have the whole the Ula thing. This episode was fucking amazing as well. So we find out that's not his mom. He just picked
Yeah.
a random house, went in, and the drunk old lady is fine with it, and the son's like, "You got to start paying rent," and then you know
He's a
he
deadbeat piece of shit. Yeah.
yeah he's a deadbeat piece of shit now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then
He's the guy that took the axe. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, another homage back to the original Fargo where he turns around and got the coming at him with the axe, and yeah, just in the middle of the street, we see like on Halloween, right, where
Yeah.
the kids were all out, and lady was walking down the street with her cart, but like no one's out today. Um, but then Ula basically sets up a whole ruse where he's like in the rocking chair in the window, and Gator like standing across the street with the sniper. He's like just
Which,
standing there with the sniper.
hell of a shot. I'll give him kudos. That dude
It
can
was a
shoot.
great shot,
Yeah.
like a
Headshot.
headshot,
Yeah.
and we see that Ula is like has like some kind of fake body
Oh, it's his
with
sons.
the. Oh, is it the Suns?
Yeah.
Oh,
And he's like pulling the string of the rocking chair. The guy's just like dead, just rocking away. Yeah.
I watched it on my phone. I think I watched it on my phone, so I didn't see the face. Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. That's even better.
Oh
And
yeah. So the guy dies twice. It's so good. And Gator, he's like, yes. Like he didn't like fit like he could just tell he was like, okay, I
yeah,
got him. And he's like, oh, let me walk over to the car. And he sees like the bag of cash in the back of the car. Guy's a moron.
yeah, it's not gonna turn out well for him. I don't think.
Oh no, because the old lady like catches him, like breaking into
Oh
the
yeah,
car,
is she?
and then he
She
like pushes
yeah
her over and she fucking dies.
yeah yeah. So now I mean you got. What do you think Ula's next move is? Is he going back after the Tillmans or is he?
Yeah, he's going after Gator.
Yeah
Yeah, Gator's next, man. Like he took off with the cash and like, yeah, the lady will be dead. I think Ula's hey, I think he's gonna go after because it was all square, right? Like
yeah
John Hamm paid him off and was like, look, debt's a debt. Here's pain and suffering. We're cool. I think he would have
yeah
left it at that had
yeah
like Gator not gone after him, but Gator
yeah
went after him. I think it's fair game now.
yeah. Agree.
Um,
Next
and then
episode that comes out tomorrow is called Blanket.
Blanket. Yeah, we also see like Dot's husband
Oh,
is like
Wayne.
Wayne at the dealership and like she's like coloring or something and like some guy comes in and is like, hey, we got this family but they can't afford it, so it's a
Oh, a
tough
car
go. And
for
he's
a
like,
car.
car for a car, eh? And he's
Yeah.
just like won't let it go. It's so weird. I don't know where they're going with
Well,
that,
they
but
want it. The car for a car.
right, it's
Oh
fair,
my
it's fair,
god.
you know.
Yeah, he's yeah. So he's a little bit mentally challenged since
Yeah. Is it just like gonna repeat like Dot is gonna become like Jennifer Jason Lee, and her Wayne is gonna become like his dad, who's just like a drunk, like talking at like ballerino, like talking out of his ass all the time.
except for I don't think he'll be a just like I mean a drunk. He'll be the
Yeah,
just like mentally challenged.
yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
just
he
gonna be
will be.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah, which
So
is
I don't
not
know. I thought that
uncommon
was
in
an
Fargo.
interesting like comparison. I was like, oh, like Dot's gonna
Yeah.
be like fully like in charge of everything now.
Yeah, well, interesting to see what happens. Roy's still got his campaign coming up, which I think we go back to about being a sheriff and what's going to happen with the FBI agents. So we still got three more episodes to go. Um, we're recording this on Tuesday, and on tonight, episode 8 is coming out. So
What do you
still
think
got a
happens
few
to
more
Roy?
weeks. Um, well, That's a good question because in some of the Fargos, like VM Varga, I don't think he dies in season three.
No.
Uh, Mike Milligan, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's like real life. If this is like a realistic season, he'll probably be elected sheriff again, and nothing will happen to him. Gator may get got because he's an idiot.
I
Um,
wonder if like I have two theories that it could go, and it's just because it's Fargo. One is like Roy gets reelected and then disappears because he pissed off the militia and like he won't feed him supplies and shit anymore, so they just fucking kill him. Or two, he gets eaten by the fucking circle of Lindas. They take him out to Camp Utopia and just Wicker Man the shit out of him. Yeah.
yeah, I almost think Ula's doing the killing that's left, and then he
Yeah.
disappears.
Yeah.
Unless Dot gets him, unless Dot gets Roy. Um, Hopefully, we'll have the sheriff leave her husband,
Oh, I
um,
hope so.
the golf 12-year-old Imagine Dragons fan. Um,
He's gonna be an idiot and just get killed by accident. I got a feeling. Like,
well, that's what usually happens in one of these. Like, there's like something's gonna happen. Ula's gonna show up at that house because the sheriff was chasing him, and then like he's gonna be golf swinging, and he's gonna open the garage, and um, Ula's gonna be out there, and he's gonna be like, "Hey, you freaking idiot! We get out of my garage!" And then
yeah.
Ula's gonna take a golf club and just beat him to death with it or something,
Oh yeah, he's gonna take a
But
9 iron to the skull. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know. There's a lot of interesting things that may happen.
Yeah. I got one last question about Fargo. Has there been a bad episode yet?
I don't think so. I really like every one of them. The weirder ones, I heard like I mean the one where you find out that he's a sin eater and they flash back to 500 years ago. That was one of my favorite, but I heard that was a pretty divisive one, like that a lot of people took it too far away from reality. But that's what happens in Fargo in season
It's
two, and
Fargo.
a spaceship shows fucking up at
Yeah.
the hotel shootout.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, it's they're always experimenting with some like with the kind of the supernatural or the weird, but
Too far from reality. There was a nurse serial killer that was afraid of a haunted house last season. Please. Yeah. We're talking about real. No,
yeah. So
I don't think
it
there's been an episode that I would rate below an 8. They've all been bangers.
yeah, I think so too. I don't know, just really like the way the show is produced and the story.
Yeah.
Um so
Coen
one
Brothers, man.
question for you real quick.
Yeah.
Do you think Dot I mean, do you think Dot dreamt the whole sequence from the coffee from the diner? Do you think she went to Camp Utopia? Do you think that Linda didn't go with her? Or do you think she just dreamed all that up while she was phased out?
I think she
And
I think she dreamed it all. Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking. But yeah, I'm assuming that she's going up to take care of Roy or deal with the situation, and then she stopped for coffee or whatever, and then dreamt everything else. Like maybe she was going to stop and see Linda and try to get, and then she never made it.
Yeah.
But then, yeah,
Yeah,
if
with
they find a Jane Doe in the hospital, they're anywhere near there. Roy and them are going to pick up on it because
yeah.
yeah. So
With her falling asleep at the wheel like earlier before she stopped
yeah,
and then like she like snaps to at the table. I'm like, oh, she hallucinated all of that. Like,
dude, what if she fell asleep at the wheel and crashed and like didn't even make it
oh,
past that?
that'd be amazing. Never made it to the coffee shop. Holy
Yeah,
shit, that'd be great.
yeah, that was all in her mind, and then she was. It'd be interesting. That'd be funny if that's next week. They are like towing her car from like the side of the road, and you're like, yes.
That would be a
But
great take. That's a great take. That could be awesome.
yeah, it just seems odd the way it all.
The semi truck
I spent,
crashed into the gas station. and like hit an SUV that was parked, and then the SUV like didn't roll or anything. It just like came at her, and she was like, "Oh shit!"
It like bounced into her and stopped, and she just kind of fell down. Like she would have been fucking smushed.
Yeah, yeah. Like, uh, whose head got popped like a cherry? Like we were talking about, somebody smashed somebody's head into a windshield and it popped like a cherry.
Oh, that was in Slow Horses.
That was Slow Horses.
Spider.
Like she'd have
Who?
popped like a cherry like that, dude. Like, come on, like
Juno Temple's like 87 pounds. Like she would
it's
have
a
been
three
rolled up
thousand
on.
pound SUV, like moving at like
Yeah.
50 miles an hour. Yeah, no way,
Oh,
dude.
that's
Yeah,
a nice Kia, don't you know?
yeah. Don't you know? Yeah,
Oh, don't you know?
yeah.
Anything
So
else on Fargo?
no, just
Don't you know?
I I love it. Great casting this season. Amazing.
Yeah.
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 So
Um, and then lastly, Famke for All Mankind.
my favorite, Famke Janssen. Yep.
I watched this episode on a plane on the way to Vegas, and like I'm sitting there like with looks of astonishment while I'm watching on my phone. I'm going, "What? What? Like, no, no, they're not gonna do that. What? Like, it was literally fucking nuts.
It was
Like,
ridiculous.
this episode was so wild. Like I don't even remember like half of the episode. I mean, Kelly and her son are up in space now. Kelly's gonna go on a spacewalk, and basically leaves. Okay, Dad, I know my son is deathly afraid of you, and but I've got to go do this like 3 day exploration. You're gonna watch the kid. He's like, and then in my head he's like, damn, I'm gonna have to sneak out to smoke my weed or something, like or
Right?
hope my kid
Yeah.
don't find my drugs. Um, but then he
Yeah,
spends the
considering he's
episode
from the
like,
'60s, we're lucky he doesn't like give the kid weed to make him pass out, and then Ed can have free reign over his like scheme. Yeah,
well, he just hands off like any good grandfather hands off the kid to like multiple other people, like random people. Is like, hey, where's my grandson? He was just right here. Oh no, he's lost. It's like, oh, and then fucking we got so. I guess the main point of this episode, it like Billy Baton Rouge went from being the dumbest motherfucker alive to like masterminding a scheme with Dev and Ed and some of the resistance to build a exact mock-up replica, some kind of box or control center because they're gonna steal the asteroid out from under everybody.
yeah.
It's just wild. So the most so they can't, of course, Billy Baton Rouge is like, this is classified material, so we can't get anybody to get it there. And we've got to, he knows all the ins and outs of the whole space operation. He's been there for like 3 fucking months. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. He's been there all
they're
of five
trans.
minutes, and he's like, "Oh, that's restricted area. I don't even know where the fuck that's at on
Hey,
space."
that's restricted area, but the dude can con his way into fucking North Korea on Mars. Like,
Yeah,
oh no, we can't get here. And then like every piece of equipment gets shipped down, like, you know, all the redundant equipment they need is labeled non-classified or non-whatever, except for the one main thing that they need, the box thing.
yeah.
The box too. uh,
Which I love.
it,
Like they couldn't come up with anything better than to name it a discriminator box, because it's only going to take one signal from fucking OpsCom, and I'm just like, really, discriminator box? That's the best you can come. Get the fuck out of here.
yeah, and then the box is in the confidential or the class the secret room,
Yeah,
and amazingly, Billy Baton Rouge knows that there's like is it him or someone comes up with the idea of, oh, we can crawl through this hole to gain access to the room.
Yeah, it's Billy Bad Rouge. Yeah, he's like, oh,
Yeah,
there's one way, but that vent is
yeah,
only like 12 inches wide. And it's
yeah,
just like,
yeah.
it's like, dude, how do you know this?
He's got all the schematics, like he's fucking the Doctor Evil. He's, I don't, I don't get how they're trying to build him. Like they're trying to build him into this big character, and it's like it's
The guy
ridiculous.
couldn't even read his own paycheck, and now he just understands like the ins
Yeah,
and outs of
wait,
things.
well, now he's like fucking John Gotti on the Happy Valley.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
So like they use Ed's like grandson to do it.
yeah. Oh, let me go. I know someone who will fit. It's like no second thought of his son commit major treason
Yeah,
against the United States in or the M7 countries. And you and I were talking before, like the kid goes in and is like, oh, I can't reach it. Or oh, maybe I can if I climb this. Whoa! Like crash,
oh!
crash. Yo, Johnny, you okay? Yo, hey, hey, hey. And then like the soldier runs in there. What was that noise? And there's like shit all over the ground. And then the little kid comes out of the vent. Like, good job, buddy. Good job. It's like the whole time talking to him while he's in that room, and they could hear him crystal clear.
The soldier doesn't hear them like celebrate, like popping champagne in the other room. Like,
And they've got to be like, it's got to be like a room that's like next to it or very close. It's not like he crawled through a series of fucking tunnel. Like the 6-year-old crawled through a series of tunnels to get back to the like.
yeah, he John McClane this box from like 6 feet over. And like, I love how they have all these tools, and he's like the HVAC maintenance guy. He didn't think that they could just like cut the hole bigger to like fit somebody's ass through there instead of getting a kid to do it. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I just,
and it'd have been better if the kid came out and said "Yippee kayak, mother truckers." Or
yeah, for
what?
real.
Did you ever you watch Brooklyn 99, right?
Yeah,
There's an
yeah.
episode where there's hostages, and then Charles has a John McClane moment. He's got on a he's like "Yippee kayak." I can't remember the other word, but I just saw that one the other night, and they're like, that's been in my head, like, like "Yippee kayak," and then like, and but
So
yeah, it's
ridiculous.
I don't even remember what happened in the the other part of the episode, and um, Margot are having to work with each other. Margot's trying to ask about the family, and it's like, you don't have a right to talk about my family or talk to ask how my family's doing. And
Yeah.
but then Sergey shows up, and Sergey like falls in love with Margot on TV again, and drives. You see his boring, mundane life in the
As a physics
suburbs of
teacher.
in fucking Iowa. Like,
Yeah.
could have put it. I guess it's like the Soviet Union. There's like corn and cold weather and lots of drinking. Um, but God, yeah, I would probably head right for Texas as well. Um, my ex popped onto TV.
I do. It would have been so funny if he turned out to be like a fucking Russian mob guy, like running like a fucking craps room in a back room in Iowa.
Yes, that was
Would have been
badass.
amazing. Or like his weekend hobby is to like go to the casino and like run the table on the cards, like run the cards table. So funny, dude.
There are casinos in Iowa. I've been in them. Yeah, no, yeah, we'll find it. If this was a different story, find a backstory, like he was building fucking like bombs in the physics lab or the science lab and sending
He
them.
worked for the American Underground.
he, he provided the bomb that blew up the
JNC.
Space Center before it was renamed Molly Cobb Space Center. Um, his students build it. They're like, he's part of the resistance.
Yeah.
But he shows up at Alita's house, like, and tell Margot I love her or like to meet me here. But then she doesn't, or she meets him outside the diner. Margot shows up, and then I can't really remember what they talked about, but
He tells her that the woman who now runs Roscosmos
Oh
was
yeah, to be
his
careful.
KGB handler, and tells her she got to get out of there. She's gonna ruin your life or whatever. What Margot and him are gonna run
Yeah.
like he's gonna leave his wife and like escape with her to like fucking Argentina or something like that. Like what is he? No, no, no. They're gonna like run to the moon or Mars or some shit. Like, oh dude.
Well, at least his wife will have a good story. My
True.
husband ran off with that traitor woman who defected to Russia. Sergey was a good American.
Yeah, I love how like Sergey tells Alita the reason that like Margot like defected, and it's all of a sudden just supposed to make it better, like because it's for
Yeah.
love. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. The love of my Russian I don't know what you call it when Margot was the mark, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, I fell in love with my Russian friend. Yeah, it's supposed to make it all better. I'm like, this is real life. I'll leave it like, fuck you, Sergey, get the fuck out of here. It's like,
Yeah, yeah,
she's a traitor. You should be dead. Fuck off.
yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
mean, this is. I think that's what if he would have showed up at Bill's house, piss pants, Bill would have fucking capped him.
yeah. I was gonna say like Alina should have told. Why don't you tell Bill that he can't walk anymore?
Yeah.
You fucking Russian. Yeah, all
Oh
that's
yeah,
going
yeah.
on, and Kelly's up at the Korolev crater with her robot seeker things, doing her search for life. I wonder if that's going to be the breaker, right? It's all gonna all this tension's gonna be building up around this meteor and all this shit, and there's gonna break the news that they've like discovered life like frozen in this crater, and like it's all the tension and all this like all the like warring and shit is gonna be put aside because now they know that we're not alone like in the universe like to some degree. It's gonna be like microscopic of course or whatever, but like that's gonna be like what ends the season, and then going into next season it's gonna be like full on archaeological sites and shit on Mars. It's gonna be hilarious.
Or alternatively, it's really like Danny and or Danielle and Ed threw Danny into that crater or whatever. And he like froze in it, and they were like, "Oh my god, we found the existence of life." Second Danny. Uh,
Oh,
um,
it's Matt Damon just down in the crater from Interstellar,
that's
just
Matt Damon.
dead.
Yeah, they're on fucking
Man's
Interstellar. They're
world.
on Man's planet. Uh,
Oh shit. Yeah, it'll be
it's
interesting
Matt
where they
Damon.
go with that.
Yes. And then like Matthew
uh,
McConaughey shows up, he's like, "I'm 128 years old." You know.
Have you guys seen Anne
All
Hathaway
right.
around here? I'm looking for her.
Yeah. I'm looking for Anne, guys. Oh. Have y'all been to the Tesseract yet? There's a wormhole out there. Uh,
God, that'd be great.
uh,
Uh, yeah,
what a show.
this was a hilarious episode. Much like the like they do some shit that I just scratch my head out with the show. Like when they did the solar sails last season and they like played the Pirates of Penzance or whatever. I was just like,
Yeah.
what the fuck are we doing? Yeah. But that was the
Well,
same for the kid crawling through the fucking air vent for me.
and they call the asteroid there called Goldilocks.
Yeah.
Like, like Goldilocks is the one who ate the porridge,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, is one just right? Like, is that the asteroid? Like, I don't get the naming of the asteroid of Goldilocks either. How
Yeah,
about
I don't
big
get
fucking
that.
chunk of money ball? Like,
Well, let's call it Moneyball. Let's call it Brad Pitt's Moneyball. I'm sure
uh,
that movie's about to get made.
hey, anything else
Goldilocks
on?
for all mankind. No, for all mankind. That's a great show, man. I know we love to make fun of it, and it's fucking ridiculous, and
I enjoy
it's the most
watching it
out there.
because
But
it's
yeah,
and Episode 9 is this Friday, called Brazil. So
Yeah.
things things start to go awry just as an important mission approaches a critical junction.
uh Kelly falls in the crater and dies, and Ed like accidentally crashes the meet. His shakes like Dev has like Ed take over the ship from OpsCom 2 and accidentally like crashes the meteor into Brazil. Maybe that's why it's called Brazil.
Yeah, they try to catch the asteroid, and like Ed's fucking slingshots it to Earth, and it crashes into Brazil.
Oh shit.
I think that's possible.
Yeah, it's so I don't know. It's so ridiculous, but I can't find
Or
anything
Margot
good.
and Margot and Sergey go to Brazil
That's probably what's going to happen. Yeah.
because it's a picture of Margot on the Apple TV thing for that episode.
Yep.
So what do you think? What do you think the end result? Last question, and we'll shut her down here. What do you
Yeah.
think the end result is at the end of the season?
I think
Like,
that's what
where
it's
are we
going to.
going? I mean, you kind of said it earlier, right? So,
Yeah.
what do you think?
Yeah, what I said earlier, right, was, I think Kelly will discover life to some degree, or evidence of life forms at one point on
Hmm.
Mars from the crater, and they'll make their way back just as everybody's about to kill each other over this asteroid and go, guys, guys, guys. I don't know if you know this, but Al Gore just discovered life on Mars, and and it's gonna put all this like hostility stuff to the side, and they're gonna go, okay, we know we'll be able to make money out of the asteroid. It won't be right away. However, now we have justification because we know there's life outside of Mars, outside of Earth. I just don't know the ultimate end game to set up another season. Like, I
Yeah,
have no
that's where
idea.
I'm going, right? Like we've been on Mars all season. We got Happy Valley. Let's say Dev steals this asteroid successfully, and it's circling around Mars, and it's in Mars's orbit, and they start mining it. Dev wants to live on Mars, right? Ed has to die at some point. He's like 80 years old, or at least 70. But yeah, where do we go? Next season, the asteroid is either floating around Earth or floating around Mars, or do they accidentally fucking slingshot it towards the next planet out on Mars and then they go get it? Like I guess because for us, like in our life, we're talking about the moon and then Mars. So like they're on Mars. Do they find life, like you mentioned, and then what do they do with it? Start transporting, like building houses, and people start living on Mars?
That is ultimately so. Just in terms of like human space exploration now,
Yeah.
the next step, logical step for the show, now that they have an established colony, is the colony is established. They'll figure out the whole political thing, right? Whatever. But the next logical step in terms of science is terraforming. So
Mm,
they'll either discover water in the
yeah.
crater on Mars, or life, or some kind of algae, or I don't know. But it's going to ultimately lead to, it's probably water, and it will ultimately lead to them being able to terraform Mars and make it a habitable planet little by little over the next 10 years. It won't be the whole planet in 10 years. It's not possible, unless they find some new discovery that makes it possible. But they'll be able to. I wouldn't be surprised if they set up a dome colony inside that crater that she discovered, or a crater, and now it's like a full-fledged city. I wouldn't be surprised in the next 10 years, in the next jump, we see a more well-developed city and terraforming beginning on Mars to make it a livable planet without suits.
Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
it almost seems like though there's always some kind of big conflict, you know, in the season. So if we take Gore beat who for Bush for president, right? So
Yeah.
10 years. from there. Gore beat old George Bush, or in this, or young, was it?
Young. Young.
When was? Oh, so he was Bush was president in 2000, then or 2004 to 2008, and then Obama
Bush was
2008.
president 2000 to 2008, and then Obama was 2008 and beyond.
So if if yeah, so fucking Donald Trump president in the or Hillary, like the next season, or Hillary Clinton, do they do the same thing? Like Gore wins here, but now Hillary Clinton wins the election over Donald Trump. Like, is there political unrest back home, like in the U.S.? And but see, a lot of the things I'm thinking they already done. Like they blew up the building, like the Oklahoma City bombing. There was like a space fight on like in the moon with the Russians, and someone they had those cool weapons like moon guns. Now they're
Yeah.
on Mars. Like, are we gonna be on Mars and there's gonna be like a war that happens like over territories, or
Do we get it?
you know,
Do we get a 9/11 on the moon or on Mars?
Brooklyn 9/11?
Yeah. Like, do we do a 10-year jump? The moon is like more developed into a larger city, right? It has larger cities, and
Yeah.
like a major terrorist attack happens, but they link
A
it,
second plane has hit the Happy Valley.
to terrorists on Mars. So now Earth is going to go to war with Mars.
But you know what's all forgotten on this is the moon. Like,
Yeah.
because the moon, like, don't the moon, like fucking BP and Exxon and all these companies are owning the moon, right? Like,
Yeah.
so with all the drilling and stuff going on the moon, like, does the moon go out of orbit, or does the moon like move and then fuck up the tides, and stuff on Earth starts to stuff on Earth starts to flood? Like interstellar shit happens, like crops start to not be able to do dust bowls, and then Dev's bringing people up, and yeah, they're
Yeah.
about to interstellar this bitch, aren't they?
I'm gonna laugh when it becomes like the independence, like the Revolutionary War of Mars. Like they go to war with Earth,
Ed,
or they.
Ed's still alive, going, guys, give up. People are stealing from you.
Yeah,
These Earth assholes want to come up here. I say we attack them first.
yeah.
That's what we've done back in my day.
We drop that meat on them, and it's just everybody just wearing shirts, but it's Ed in like the skies of Che Guevara.
He's got fucking beret on backwards.
He's got the beard. He's not far off from the beret.
Yeah, it's such a sad moment in this episode. He looks at his old picture and he's like, he's scared. You know, the boy's scared of him because he's old and has a beard.
Yeah. Ed's gonna shave his beard. He's gonna do some heroic shit, and he's gonna die at the end of the season.
Yeah, he's got to die at some point.
Yep. But it'll be interesting. I have no idea where they're going with this thing. I don't know.
No. Anything else?
No, I got nothing else. Almost done with The Crown. Really good. Haven't watched anything else at the moment.
Yeah, I just finished The Gold, which is awesome. A little slow in the beginning, but 6 episode British show, can't beat it. And plus it's a true story, so
Yeah.
those are always good. Yeah, next week we'll probably do our best of 2023.
Yep.
And that should be fun. Can't wait to release that. So we'll try to do some pre-posting before that, and puts out some polls, and we can make that happen after we have our board meeting, discuss our plans for 2024.
That's right. Year 2 coming up. We've our second anniversary of podcasting. We'll have a board meeting, annual meeting. I'm thinking we're going to do it in the Alps. We're going to do a ski board retreat with wolf.com. and should be pretty good. But
Woof. What's that? Woof.
yeah.
Washington University help.
Oh man, but yeah, nothing else for this week, man. Appreciate everybody for kicking it with us this week, and be sure to check out the podcast, the other episodes. We did the Emmy episode. I know the audio on that's not terribly great, but we like the structure. So we'll do the top 10 coming up, or top best of 2023. So look out for that next week, and check out our website, kickingitmedia.com. And as Chuck likes to say,
Peace.